Welcome, everyone, to the Believe in Bengal podcast. I'm Solomon Wilcots, and right now we have a very special guest, Cincinnati Bengals head coach Zac Taylor, joining us on the podcast. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Yeah, we got through the draft. We feel good about it, and so now we're just trying to recalibrate here and get ready for our own players in the building here in the next couple of days.
You got Cincinnati Bengals fans checking their pulse. I mean, we're so excited about this team year over year. And again, it looks like another impressive draft. So I got to step back maybe just a little bit. In my first question, I got to ask you, what was maybe the overall priority entering this year's draft?
Well, I think we hit some positions where the depth is really going to help us right out the gate. You know, players that we think have a great long-term vision for us, but immediately we'll be able to come in and bolster some position groups. And I don't think you can ever have enough D linemen. That's what we did in the first round. You know, he was really our best player available on the board. And I think it's good, you know, with some of these quarterbacks we got to play to have a lot of resources available there. And then added a couple corners. I think it's good. Again, another position you can never have enough of. Got a good running back that's going to provide some competition in there, a punter that's going to provide competition. I'm trying to think of who else. From safety, you know, Jordan Battle from Alabama, who we think a 4-year starter there at Bama, went to St. Thomas Aquinas in Fort Lauderdale, one of the best high school programs in the country. To come in there and compete as safeties. So really feel – and then added a couple receivers as well, you know, and really bolstered that room up as well with a player from Purdue and a player from Princeton. So we're excited about the group as a whole.
Another thing that really stood out to me, and I know you're always looking for quality young men who can self-check themselves in terms of their leadership abilities as well. But overall speed of this year's draft class is phenomenal. Starting with the first-round pick, Myles Murphy. This guy's a 4.51 in the 40. He's running faster than some defensive backs in the NFL.
No doubt. You know, and at the size that he's carrying to be able to run like that, you can see him running down ball carriers on the backside, and he's just really a force to be reckoned with. And so we're excited to let Marion Hobby get his hands on him, you know, and continue to shape him. And we feel like we got a really good player there in the first round.
It's challenging when you have to rebuild in the secondary. You lost 3 of your 4 starters in free agency, including a great safety tandem in Jesse Bates and Von Bell. So how does it work with DJ Turner, second-round pick from Michigan, the third-round pick, you mentioned Jordan Battle? How do they factor in the rebuild?
Yeah, I think, you know, the starting point was our first-round pick last year with Dax Hill. We knew that this day could be coming where we'd lose 1 or 2 safeties, and that's why we took Dax. And then we signed Nick Scott, who we had a lot of love for, you know, from the Rams to fill the other safety position. So now Jordan Battle gets a chance to come in, and you never take anything off the table from a guy. He comes in and competes, see how quickly he can pick it up and help us. There's times where he can help us maybe on a third down initially, and you can be flexible with Dax. And with DJ Turner, you know, coming in and competing, Cheeto's coming off the ACL. We think Cheeto's going to be in great shape coming in training camp and be our starting corner. Got Cam Taylor-Britt on the other side, and then there's really a competition for that third spot there, and that's where DJ steps into the picture with the loss of Eli Apple, and so he's got the flexibility there to do inside, to play outside, and maybe even help us on inside on some other downs and dime as well, because he's got that flexibility to play some inside as well with Mike Hilton. So we feel like we got a good group of DBs that we added to the mix there.
Tell us more about your 4th-round pick out of Purdue, the wide receiver, Charlie Jones. This guy can flat-out fly as well. What stood out about him?
Just the way he plays the game, you know, and the technique he uses combined with the speed. I mean, they try to get him the ball every single play, it seemed like, you know, and he's got a ton of 100-yard performances. And so even when they knew the ball was going to him, he still found ways to make a play because the way he sets up DBs, the chemistry he had with their quarterback there. And so just really impressed with his route detail, his ability to make, you know, tough catches in traffic and contested catches, his ability to finish off some runs. And so just really impressed with how he can come in. You know, our offense is simple in the passing game, but yet on third down, it gets really complex, you know, and guys got to be able to move around and play different spots. And so we need someone that was capable of doing that. And so we feel like him and Trenton Irwin are really 2 good guys there that can really fit in behind those 3 starters and help us there.
It has to get complex because defenses aren't going to make it easy on you. They like to bring everything on third down. And speaking of third down, the fans are asking, I had them send in some questions. Everyone wants to know more about Illinois running back Chase Brown. And one fan is asking, When will the run? How will the run game bounce back this year, and how will Chase Brown factor in that? But something tells me he's going to factor in a lot of things you guys are doing on offense.
Yeah, I think Chase is a good fit for us. He operated largely out of the gun and in the pistol at Illinois. He's about 209 pounds, and so he's got some power to him. He's got great lateral vision, lateral quickness, good balance, and he's been the bell cow for them the last 2 years. He rushed for 1,600 something yards this year, which was second in the country by just a few yards. I think every game but two this year he rushed for over 100 yards in a game.
Yeah,
and which is just when you know a guy's going to carry the ball and he's still doing it, just shows you kind of the talent level and the character that he's got. And so, again, he's a really impressive young man, and we're excited to get him in the mix.
9 straight games over 100 yards rushing. This guy was a team captain, showed great leadership qualities and great durability. Reminds me of an Austin Eckler. And I can't think of a guy like that in this offense, Zach. That's kind of like a new toy for you, isn't it?
It's exciting. He's a guy that we think had a load of talent, and happy to get him where we got him, which was a little bit later than I thought he'd be there. And so then you'll see how he fits into the pass game, the projections. That'll be things that maybe he's going to have to do a little bit more than he did in the past. But like any rookie running back, those are things that you got to introduce to him as well.
Another fan question wanted to know, is tight end Irv Smith Jr. better than the options that were on the draft board at the tight end position? Your thoughts?
Yeah, we're really excited about Irv. There were certainly some tight ends that we had some regard for. That got picked off pretty soon. It's those first two we really liked, and they went with the 26th pick probably and the 35th pick, I think, to Detroit. Those are two really good players that I think would have really helped us. But again, we're happy to not reach, and because we felt good about the group we had with Drew Sample back in there, playing the same roles he's played before, and Devin Ossie ascending, and we got some other guys as well, Tanner Hudson, Nick Bowers. And so we feel like that room can continue to grow. They've all been developing over the last year, and adding Irv, I think, is a good replacement there for Hayden.
I get more questions about Joe Mixon than any other player. And I'm sitting in pubs and in coffee houses, and I'm telling Bengals fans that this is a rare find. And I talk to other coaches around this league, and they're talking about your player wishing they had him. So what can you tell Cincinnati Bengals fans about Joe Mixon to help them feel at ease about what the future holds in 2023?
And he's so physical, and especially when he's out in space. Even if these guys take him down, they pay the price for it.
That's right.
And eventually you see they don't want to do it anymore. And that's kind of where he makes one miss and runs them over and gets a lot of extra yardage there. And so he helps when he gets on the perimeter there. He helps Jamar and T, those guys, when they have to go against those DBs, because those guys are a little bit beat up and worn down. And so Mixon's just been a really good leader in the locker room for us. He does things the right way. He's one of those guys when you're in pregame warmups talking to another coach, and they're looking at him, talking about him like, God, we got to deal with this guy again. So, and we feel like he's been an efficient back for us too. We love explosive runs from the backfield, but we also like the efficiency as well. And he does a really good job with that. And when he gets the ball in his hands in the pass game, he's been an effective player for us.
Absolutely. Can line up outside in the slot, can catch it there coming out of the backfield. Certainly a potent weapon within the offense. One final question for you, Coach. Everyone's looking at the contract with Joe Burrow and what's happening with all the other quarterbacks. And they're wondering, can we get the contract done for Joe Burrow while at the same time keeping the talent around him? To that, you say what?
We're hopeful, certainly. And there's no perfect piece of the puzzle there, but that's something we've kept in mind for years now as we've seen these young players ascend. That's always the vision our front office has had, is how do we keep this together, because it's our best chance to win a Super Bowl. And so again, I can't give all the specifics to it, but certainly we want to keep as many of these pieces as we can. And so again, I'm glad that's not part of my job title to figure out how that all works, but I know that's doing a great job trying to keep it all together.
Well, you're doing a great job of really presenting, I think, a great game plan to players. That's what they want from their coaches. Hey, give us a plan that we can execute and one to help us win games. We appreciate the great job you continue to do with the players and with the football team and the way that you represent the city. Keep up the great work. And I know you're busy, so I always want to thank you for sharing your time with us here on the Believe in Bengal podcast.
You bet. Appreciate you having me on, Solomon.
All right, all the best. That is head coach Zach Taylor, Cincinnati Bengals. We'll be back with more of the Believe in Bengal podcast right after this.